The wisdom to see people, Haftarat Miketz. The year you're watching this, your synagogue probably won't read the Haftarah of Parashat Miketz. Why? Because statistically, Haftarah we're about to discuss is read once every 10 years. Usually, like this year, we read the Haftarah for Hanukkah. Nevertheless, I won't skip it. Here we give equal opportunities, even to rare Haftarot. Our Haftarah, despite its rarity, belongs to one of the more well-known Haftarot narratives. Shlomo, recently blessed with the divine wisdom upon ascending the throne, employs his new wisdom to conduct the famous judgment of Shlomo. When two women come to him with one living baby and one dead one, he proposes to cut the child in half and returns the child to its true mother. The associative connection to the parasha is strong. The king awakens from the dream of prophetic dimensions, and Yosef and Shlomo's exceptional wisdom are more than enough to connect the parasha to the Haftarah. However, this isn't sufficient material for a video, so we must continue. One question that troubled commentators about our story is what was so wise about Shlomo's judgment? Clearly, it succeeded in practice. The people saw that the wisdom of God was within him to execute judgment. Still, answering the question of how he succeeded and what made the people see that God's wisdom was within him, the commentators offered different views. I believe this question troubles commentators as early as Rashi. At the end of the story, after Shlomo pronounces the verdict to split the child and the women react, one begging for life and the other embracing death, the king declares, "Give her the living child and do not kill it. She is its mother. No one is going to be cut." But according to Rashi, it would be a waste of all the invested work. After all, they sharpened swords and everything. So, if we're not about to split the child, we might as well split the king? Not literally, of course. Split his declaration. "Give her the living child and do not kill it" was said by King Shlomo. "She is its mother" by the king of the universe, through a heavenly voice, meaning that was said by God. The way I see it, Rashi is answering our question here, at least partially. Shlomo's wisdom wasn't tested by the verdict, or at least not by the verdict alone. If that were the test, the people couldn't have seen that the wisdom of God was within him to execute judgment. Who would guarantee that the judgment was correct? The heavenly voice testifying that Shlomo was right caused all of Israel to see the divine wisdom within him and fear their new king. This answer is somewhat different from the conventional answer given by Rashi's student, Rabbi Yosef Kara. From his perspective, the proposal to cut the living child was in itself brilliant. It showed the Israelites that nothing could be hidden from Shlomo. It also leaves many commentators wondering, what's so brilliant about it? After all, it leaves many opportunities for failure. For example, Malbim asks, what's so wise about knowing that a mother will have more mercy on her son than a stranger? Or, an even stronger question, what would have happened if the impersonating mother had behaved like a normal person rather than a psychotic murderer who would prefer to kill a child than let him live with his mother? The commentators' answers to these questions are interesting. Malbim points to the detail the king identifies before the verdict. One woman always puts "my living son" before "your dead son," while the other puts "your dead son" before "my living son." Shlomo understands that each emphasizes the information she finds important, her motivation. The Metzudat David speaks of the impersonating mother being driven by jealousy, but ultimately not wanting to nurse and raise a child that isn't hers. I even saw an argument, whose source I don't remember, that the impersonator's motive was related to the laws of Yibum. The brilliance in Shlomo's judgment, according to these interpretations at least, was his ability to identify those motives and reach the truth. I believe all these interpretations might be correct, but what makes them brilliant is the beginning of the Haftarah. Two women from the lowest socioeconomic status come to Shlomo. Two prostitutes. Shlomo, in contrast, is a king and the son of a king. He spent his entire life in high society. He isn't his father David, who was taken from tending sheep and could say to his beloved noble wife Michal, "And with the maidservants whom you mentioned, with them I will be honored." He didn't grow up with the common people. Yet despite the class differences, Shlomo can see two women from society's margins and understand that they too have motives, like any other person. He can put himself in their shoes and truly understand their motivations. Although scripture and midrash testify in many other ways to Shlomo's great wisdom, whether in diplomatic ability, economics, natural science, or thousands of proverbs, the first and decisive test of Shlomo's wisdom came from his ability to see the person before him. In memory of my beloved and heroic student Amichai Shimon ben Yishai and Bat Yarubin Hashem Yikom Damo, Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.